In the previous episode, we left it where Netflix has given up. They have said enough is enough. And they offered themselves to the competitor to be bought off the market at a bargain price. The year is 2001, and 5 things have happened. Number 1, Netflix has been laughed off the boardroom by Blockbuster, and they were back to the drawing board. And number 2, 2001, there was the 9/11 bomb attack in US, and Americans were staying at home. And number 4, there are people who are now interested in entering the market. And number 5, they needed to survive so that their end game can be actualized. You see, as a business person, it reaches a point where everything is dark. You are facing great competition. People are laughing you out of the boardroom that your idea will not see the light. And you are running out of cash. And Netflix had reached a point where they don't have the money to expand, the much money that they needed. And a tragedy has happened. Just like the tragedy that has happened now, we have a tragedy of COVID-19 all over the country. At that time, 9/11 attack has happened and Americans are staying at home. But just like it is right now, a tragedy can be an opportunity for a business person. This means that demand for watching movies grew in America. Another thing that happened is that the prices of DVD players dropped, so that the common person in America could afford to buy a DVD player. Remember, Netflix is still glued into the idea of DVD. So with the attack, most people are now affording to buy DVDs. People are staying at home. People are scared of moving out. So they need DVDs mailed to them. So at this point, Netflix got an opportunity because people preferred their model more than the Blockbuster model of now going to the stores, because with the attack, everyone was staying at home. That is why when I talk to business people and they tell me about the tragedies of COVID-19, I tell them that there are people who have actually enjoyed, and there are people who have made a lot of money out of a tragedy in history and what is happening now. Because you see, as a business person, then you cannot afford to complain, because you are a creator of solutions. When people are seeing problem, you are seeing an opportunity to create a solution. And then you ask yourself, can people pay for this solution? I've had so many stories of people saying that COVID-19 is an opportunity for business for the creators of the virus. That one I leave it to politicians. But for me, an entrepreneur is one who is constantly thinking of an opportunity out of tragedy. Even after tragedy, they are thinking of how they will be part of the few people who will become the COVID-19 billionaires. Because as I said in the previous episodes, that COVID-19 has come as a tragedy, yes, but it will create a new breed of billionaires and millionaires in each and every country. And so Netflix made a great stride into their business because of the 9/11 bomb attack. Because then people preferred the DVDs to be shipped to them, and there was more demand for content. But then they were running out of money. It comes a point as a business person, you have seen an opportunity, someone has given you a hint of a great business that you can do, but you have nothing in your pocket. Now, Netflix pulls a move that I normally tell business people that this is one of the best moves you can do, and that is bringing in partners. Because as business people, then it is better to have partners on board who will help you reach the destination of your business, but not clinging on control, where you don't want to relinquish control of your business by fearing that if I bring partners on board, then they will have a share of my cake. Netflix decided to go public. And you see, public is not reserved on businesses that are making profit. Going public is reserved for people who need more money, because once you go public, then you are able to raise shares and raise capital for your business. And that is what Netflix did for expansion. And so in 2003, they moved from shipping 10,000 DVDs in a day to shipping 1 million DVDs in a day. And this is where Walmart now came in, because they saw in the opportunity and they decided to come into Netflix business. So we had a three-way battle. We have Netflix, we have Blockbuster, and we have Walmart into the game. And you see, when you have believed in your idea long enough, you'd see other entrants coming in. Because I remember when I was starting off entrepreneurship journey myself, I started a business of ensuring that food is taken to the homes of those who need it. Back then, before Uber Eats came in. And I remember walking the streets of Nairobi and trying to explain to hotels that it is possible for someone to order food on their mobile phone. And so many people laughed me off. And having invested a lot of money in the technology, paying the developers, bringing in the infrastructure and marketing that is needed, I was shocked by the response of the market. At that time, Uber was just coming in, so the idea of people requesting for a taxi was new to them. Now, a young man is coming and telling them that you can now move and start requesting for food and it will be brought to where you live. That was a new idea. And it is funny because most of the restaurants actually asked to be paid for them to integrate their menus into my system. And after a long time, I did what Netflix did. I gave up. And after a short period, I had, there was Eat Out, there was Jumia Food, and there was Uber Eats that came into the market. This is the same struggle that now Netflix had went through. Because after a lot of struggle in 2003, they were able to make their first profitable year. And they made their 1 million shipping per day of DVDs. And Walmart comes in. And at this time, Netflix has made their 1 millionth subscriber. So subscribers for Netflix services have hit 1 million. But then Blockbuster comes in with another crazy idea. They decided to move to DVD technology. They abandoned their old tapes technology, and now DVD was starting to pick up after the tragedy. So now they have moved their services online again. If you look at Blockbuster, on the other hand, it is a giant. And here we have Netflix struggling, and they have the same model. And remember, I said disruption is where your competitor has to change a model to compete. And so now Blockbuster has bought in to the same guys who they fired out of the boardroom, to the same guys who they chased out of the boardroom, and now they have changed their model to an online service and a DVD service. And this battle was fierce. It actually brought down the valuation of Netflix by 75%. Because again, as a business person, then you cannot always be ready for your competitors. The competitors are prone to changing, and I think it's a lesson that Netflix has really picked up, that we have to continue changing. Remember, they started with a 7-day rental. They moved to Maki program, and they kept changing their model because they knew in this world, then you have to keep changing. And the year is now 2008, the year of technology, where now YouTube is in, people have learned to stream online, and so DVD technology is being phased out. And at this time when Netflix was struggling, the same CEO for Blockbuster who chased Netflix out of their boardroom went ahead and sent a kitchen sink to Netflix offices just to show them that they have actually brought everything that the kitchen sinks on them. And this is to show how fierce the battle was. And at this time, Walmart bows out of the competition. The two giants remain. And now in 2008, Blockbuster also bows out of the business. And the same CEO who chased them out is now fired. And now it remains Netflix in the market in 2008. With the demand for online content going up, they have come with a smart algorithm where once you order a DVD, Netflix is able to tell your interests. So they can give you actually what you want. And it is the smart algorithm that they still use up to now, where when you order enough titles, they have the intelligence of suggesting more titles that will be of interest to you. But then it comes an announcement from the founder of Netflix himself that will destroy the bedrock of what Netflix was made of. And you see, this has always been the magic stroke of Netflix. Always destroying the very foundation that has built them. And that is what we call reinvention. And reinvention is where you actually look at your model and you say, you have to change. You don't change because competitors are changing. You change because you have predicted the market is changing. And so you have to change with it. Or if you haven't predicted the market is changing, then you want to change the market and shape the demands and behaviors of your customers. And that is what Samsung has always been doing as well. They ensure that they are in your part of your life. They're in your pocket in your phone. They're in your kitchen if it's the fridge and the cookers. They're in your living room in televisions. And so these are people who are actually advancing the life of consumers. So Netflix decides to make an announcement that is remembered till today because it totally destroyed the bedrock of the company. Now, this is a very difficult discussion for business people. You destroy what you have been building for a long time, and you actually destroy it when you have won. Then it is a very difficult discussion to talk about change. Because as we said in the previous episode, a human mind is made to accept the things the way they are. Because when I bring something new, when I change, your mental programming is meant to refuse and repel that and accept the way things used to be. We feel more comfortable handling things the way they used to be. But then as a business person, you have to be okay with uncomfortable situations. Situations that prompt you to do things that are different. And that is what we call courage. Because it is courage that made Netflix make that stroke and iconic announcement in 2008. Video on demand. So thank you for being an ardent follower of our episodes. I'm very grateful for the guys who have been giving me feedback and telling me how amazing these stories have been and how they have shaped their own thinking. Because at the end of the day, our goal in Let's Talk Business is to ensure as an entrepreneur, then you know that there are people who have gone through the struggles you're going every day. The struggles of looking for money, the struggles of trying to accept change and pushing a different idea to the market and actually fighting off the giants. And if you're able to pick all these stories and pick all these lessons in our stories, then you are in the path to the right direction. Please stay tuned to the next episode and the final episode where we'll be talking about Netflix now becoming the giant through their iconic announcement of video on demand. See you next time.